Well, welcome to the new edition of the Film Festival 2019, and I hope you guys enjoy it as much as we enjoy putting it together for you guys.
Yeah, we're looking forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, good. Well, it's a movie about my late husband, Mike deGruy, and he was an ocean explorer, an ocean enthusiast, and he died in an accident. So I felt compelled to do a story that celebrates his career, but also highlights what I felt he cared most about at the time he died, and that is essentially that we're destroying the ocean before we even know what's there. So that's what I made the film about, and I hope people like it, and I hope they feel inspired then to act on behalf of the ocean.
So 4 years in the running to make the movie, is that right?
Yeah, maybe a little longer.
Maybe a little longer.
It was a long time in coming. I mean, it was a difficult project, obviously, because it was really emotional. So, yeah.
Yes, I bet. So you have a world premiere.
Yes.
And red carpet.
Yes.
How do you feel?
Great.
Yes, I would
Yeah, a little
imagine
nervous.
so.
I mean,
nervous, yeah.
you know, it's always scary to unveil something that you've been working so hard on, but I know I'm really excited. I'm really, really honored to be here on opening night. It's great. Yeah.
Oh, well, thanks. We can't wait to see it.
Thank you.
Yeah. The film is a feature documentary called Ordinary Gods. It's screening. It has its world premiere here at the Santa Barbara Film Festival on February 8th, and it follows 6 professional soccer players as they deal with the sacrifices, loss, and human experiences that come with being so prominent in the international stage.
Was it enjoyable film to make?
I'm sorry?
Was it enjoyable?
Incredibly enjoyable film to make. I mean, highly, highly challenging, more so as the years went by. The whole project is about 3.5 years since we started following these players, but as time went by and players gained more notoriety and grew in their own careers, access started getting it was less and less, so that became challenging.
Are there any players attending?
The screening,
Yes.
I don't know, but it's planned for that to happen. But they're big guys, so you never know their availability. Yeah.
Thanks.
And you're happy to be here?
No, I'm super happy to be here. I'm happy to be premiering here at the Santa Barbara Film Festival. We worked very hard. When I say we, it's like this is a true beacon of collaborative filmmaking. There was crews all over the world following these stories, bringing back the goods to us to shape it and unearth the truths that we would find in each player. And the fact that we can open here is a true blessing. We're very excited. Thank you very much.
Thank you for Film
Right,
Festival.
Filmfestivals.com. Could you tell us a little about your movie and also, of course, enjoying Santa Barbara Film Festival right now?
100%. It's really inspiring that Santa Barbara International Film Festival has decided to pick our film, The Map to Paradise, to be a part of this amazing festival, because it's so clear that they're trying to highlight the plight of the planet and are trying to do their bit by marrying Hollywood with environmental films to try and, I guess, amplify some of these messages like what we have about restoring the planet. You can continue on if you want to.
Yeah, so I guess our film, sort of like some of the other films in the festival, really it's sort of looking at some of the issues with the environment and how we need to sort of change them and make it just more like a more mainstream issue, and by bringing Hollywood into that, it's really powerful because everyone listens to Hollywood actors and stuff. So
that's why. So in our film, because it's an adventure-filled tale about the birth. Oh, sorry, this way. So I wasn't quite sure where we were meant to be looking. Okay, so The Map to Paradise is an adventure-filled tale about the birth of the global movement to protect the sea, and it includes people like Prince Albert II of Monaco, to the President of Palau, and also ordinary people leading the way on the ground, like scientists, and there's an island chief from the Philippines. So I guess we want to inspire people to think about what their role is in the movement, not just to save the sea, but to save the whole planet.
Nice.
Anything else you want to add to that?
I'm Daniel Clive McCallum, and I'm the composer to Map to Paradise. It was an absolute joy to be working on this film with these great filmmakers, and the fact that we've got more young filmmakers like James and Danielle taking on issues like ocean conservatory is so important, and we need to get more people in the film industry to be bringing that to the forefront, so that we can all actually make a change, and so that hopefully my grandchildren can see the kind of fish that I've got the pleasure of seeing right now.
Yes, the map.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you very much.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little about yourself and your movie?
Yeah, my name is Brandon Alvis. I'm the director of a film called Cemetery Park. It's about a man's 14-year journey to right the wrong of government corruption in the city of Ventura, California, and exposing them demolishing 3 pioneer cemeteries in 1960. Documentation that goes back to the foundation of the cemeteries in the 1800s, but also the 60s, the 40s, and to a modern day situation where there was a grand jury investigation in the 2000s. And it's been a very controversial topic within the city of Ventura as well as the state of California as well.
When did you first hear about this story?
Well, I moved to Ventura, California about 5 years ago, and I moved next to what is known as Cemetery Park, and I heard a lot of oral legend and myths about there being 3,000 people buried in what's now a dog park. And I started to look into it, and I found a man named Stephen Slater who's been fighting the city for about 15 years, and he started to provide me a lot of documentation through a Freedom of Information Act, and it actually proved everything he was saying. A lot of people thought it to be conspiracy or out of the norm, but it all really happened, and not only was it morally wrong, but it was also illegal. So
this is like a world premiere tonight?
it is a world premiere. Yeah, the film will be playing at the Metro 4 on Tuesday at 8:20 and Wednesday at 6 p.m. Fantastic. Thank you guys.
My name is Steve Slater, and I am the star and producer of the film Cemetery Park. And that's a little south of here by about 30 miles or so.
Ventura?
Brandon. Yeah. He's an angel that picked this story up and made a miracle happen. I can't give the guy enough kudos. He took 14 years of video, edited it all together, and just made a hellfire with it. It's really impressive. I'm in complete awe of what he's done.
What was the challenging thing about making this?
Well, the most challenging thing was it's such a negative story. It's hard to make something like that able to be digested by the public. You know, when you talk about a desecration of 3,000 pioneers of the American West that turned into a dog park that are urinated and defecated on every day several times, it's hard to take that to the public and say, you know, we got something to do here. We got something terrible that's happened, and we got to make a change. That's what the hardest part of the film has been.
What triggered you to produce it? What was the trigger, the moment?
Well, Brandon came up and introduced himself to me. That was the motivation behind it for just the film.
Just the film.
But initially, like several years ago, I came upon this 7-acre green spot in Ventura with ocean and the islands out off the coast. Beautiful, beautiful location. And when I was told that there was 3,000 people underneath this ground, it was like I wanted to cry. There's a weird feeling. I wanted to cry and throw up at the same time. How could this happen? How could this? What's going on? One of the most traumatic things that ever happened to me before in my life is when I walked up there and saw that. And that's how I got here, to show you how traumatic it was. So I've been fighting as like a political activist, trying to get the city to realize I thought they were making a mistake. They dug it. They like this stuff. They're all for it. I mean, they laugh. Said this, you know, we're not talking to you, get out of here, shut up, and backstab our progress, and I could just go on and on what they've done. It was horrible. And sure hope the film gets the exposure and the distribution that it needs so we can help those people get their graves back. We have a Medal of Honor recipient from the Indian Wars, 1867 in Arizona. We've got 77 other veterans going back to the Mexican-American War, all the way up to the World War I. We've got Chinese Taoist, we've got Jewish, we've got Chumash Indian, we got Presbyterian, we got Catholic. It's eclectic. Everybody's there. We got Buddhists there. I don't want to forget anybody. It's really been interesting for me to get to know the people that are buried there and fight for them.
Did you get support?
I got a lot of support from the descendants, you know, the ones that could brave it a little bit longer. I got a lot of support. Got a lot of support from the media down in LA. The news stations down there really helped out a lot. Yeah, we get a lot of support, but it's taken so long. You know, it just sticking to it, not quitting, never giving up. Those are golden words. And those golden words is why I'm here tonight, going all the way with this one.
Is this the world premiere?
Yes.
We had an amazing animator.
Yeah, I think it's Tuesday, Wednesday, or Wednesday, Thursday, Cemetery Park. Yeah, it's worth it. It's worth it. It pounds, 60 minutes of pounding, blam, blam. Yeah, and it's kind of like it's right in front of you, but you don't see it. You know, if that reminds you of anything. Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you very much.
I'm Jason Baff. I'm the director of Loopers, a documentary, the first documentary ever actually about the career of the golf caddy. This film came across my desk in an interesting way. The producer is an avid golf fan. And, you know, films get made a lot of different ways. I've pushed through my ideas before. This one was really his passion project as an avid golfer and someone who really says his best friend in the world is his caddy. Don't let his wife know. And what we discussed early on was the fact that in all of sports, this is a role that is completely unique. If you think of baseball, basketball, soccer, race car driving, you name it, there's never someone next to the athlete whispering in their ear technical advice, emotional advice, feedback, sometimes working as a bouncer, sometimes working as a travel agent. It truly is something that you don't see in too many other things, and that's what got me excited about kind of digging in deeper and trying to tell their story, especially since no one's really done it before. And anytime an idea like that comes across my plate, I'm all in. I want to tell that story and do it the best I can as a filmmaker.
Was it hard to do?
You know, the interesting thing about making Loopers, I think the access was more difficult than I imagined, because the golf world is on certain levels insular. You know, the PGA Tour, the Golf Association, they have their infrastructure. So we were sort of the caddies of the documentary world, where we were trying to get in there and tell our story, but a lot of people were like, hey, we don't need you guys here. We're working, we're doing our thing. So that part of it was hard. Luckily, we were able to get doors open with some of the great golfers of all time, Tom Watson, Ben Crenshaw, Fuzzy Zeller, Lee Trevino, you know, guys I grew up watching with my dad. And, you know, they're at a point in their career where they were happy to talk. The interesting thing is with the caddies, one of the mantras that any caddy goes by is keep up, shut up, and put up. Well, the shut up part isn't so good for doing documentary films, because you're trying to get them to do interviews and stuff, and really part of their core discipline is to not really talk about what they do. So it took a little bit of coercion, it took a fair amount of whiskey and a few Guinness, but in the end, most of them opened up, and you know, they understood that we were trying to do something, I think, supportive of them in golf. We didn't want to do a tell-all. We wanted to do something positive about this relationship and share that with the world more than anything.
Last question, Jason. What's your handicap?
My handicap when I was young was about an 11. Now, a few injuries later, a lot of surfing, I can't say. It's too embarrassing.
You still got it.
I don't know. I think having made this film and now getting a lot of invites to screen it at very special golf courses, I need to go take some lessons.
Enjoy the film festival.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very
Cheers.
much.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
It's a groundbreaking documentary about the response to the oil spill from 1969 and what that created in Santa Barbara and how that has inspired the community to keep fighting for other environmental catastrophes, all the way to the debris flow of 2018, where we lost 23 lives, and people coming together from the Community Environmental Council and Environmental Defense Center, Channel Keeper. We have 28 different community members talking about community response and why it's important to come together, all the way to the Bucket Brigade.
Yes, and love for a place, community. It's really about community, because when the mud comes down on your house, you don't think about what political party somebody belongs to. It's not about that. It's about coming together and helping people out of the mud. Or the fire. We've had a lot of fires. We had an oil spill. The oil spill was one of the first big tragedies that brought people together. And so it's about those people and what they did. And part of what they did was establish the Environmental Protection Agency. They established the National Environmental Policy Act. That came out of our oil spill. And it's not something that folks know. Sorry. And so that's it's telling the history, but it's also a love letter to people coming together. And it's also a solution. It's about every community is facing disasters of some kind. And that's the Bucket Brigade.
Yeah,
I know Abe.
Yeah.
Yes, so
Abe,
he's the star of our film. Yes.
So
Abe is amazing.
We have the Bucket Brigade, we have Direct Relief, Channel Keeper, Environmental Defense Center, Community Environmental Council, Get Oil Out. We have so many nonprofits that are working
and
together.
Local heroes, but also national and international heroes like Sylvia Earle, Mark Jacobson. And it's narrated by Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Wow, and he brings so much heart to it, and oh my God, it's such a gift to have his voice gracing our film. Yes.
Can't wait to see it.
Yes, please come and see it.
So the film covers 50 years in 47 minutes. It's very unconventional film, but I think it's entertaining and informative, and I think it leaves you with a sense of hope and of possibility and of people coming together, and that's our message. In fact, we have there's no combination of words we can put on the back of a postcard, because we have Jack Johnson's song also in the film. So we like for people to fill out their vision for a future of hope with us coming together and share it. That's one of the things we're going to do tomorrow at the Q&A. We're going to ask people to... We hope that we can put away our differences to fight for our home, basically. Just like the Bucket Brigade. Yeah,
that's the point.
Exactly.
Right?
So
We only got one home.
This is it. This little blue marble.
The Bucket Brigade is a metaphor for all the other people in the film.
Thank you so much.
We'll just dig each other out.
Thank you.
My name is Jonah Ansel. I'm the writer-director of a film called Moose. It stars Samuel L. Jackson and Kathy Bates, and it's really about, we look out at our world right now, we see a lot of violence and divisiveness and othering and bullying and frankly cruelty, and this film asks a simple question: can you see an other as your brother? And it screens on February 7th and February 9th here at the Santa Barbara International Film Festival, and it's just been a gift to be able to work with actors like Samuel L. Jackson and Kathy Bates to help tell this really important, urgent political story in a time like this.
Is this a world premiere for you guys?
This is our world premiere, yes. So thank you so much.
And please welcome my good friend, writer-director Mimi deGruy.
Oh my gosh, sorry, you don't have the movie yet. Just thank you. Okay, hold on. We got to get this movie going. I want to really thank Roger, Mike's dear friend, my friend to my kids.
just thank you. I am constantly grateful for the way you lead this festival with global outreach, and yet you keep it true to its roots. And that's just an extraordinary contribution to this community. So I'm really thankful, and I'm really honored that Diving Deep is premiering here tonight, so thank you.
It deserves to be. Thank you.
And I also want to thank our chairman of the board, our president of the board, Linda Weinman, my dear friend too, who leads this board and this festival with an extraordinary clarity of thought and largeness of heart, and it is such an inspiration to me. So Linda, who is also one of the film's early supporters, thank you. So there are just a couple more thank yous. I want to thank Mike's family because the alchemy of that tribe made Mike Mike, beginning with his two extraordinary parents, one of whom is still alive. You will meet her in the film, Catherine. She is a firecracker. She is in Mobile, unfortunately, so she wasn't able to be here, but he has three brothers, the youngest of whom is here with his beautiful daughter. And I love each and every one of them, and they really, truly made Mike Mike. And I just thank them for sharing Mike, and then also for sharing their story, or letting me share their story. I also really just have to quickly thank my kids, Max and Francis, who have been knocked down in a really hard way. And they got right back up, and with an openness of heart and mind, and I'm so proud of them. They teach me every day, and also I'm just so grateful to them for letting me put this story up there. It's not easy, and they've done it with such grace. I'm so thankful. So I also want to thank this team. These are the people that made this film possible. So first, my co-producer, Shannon Dibvig. Yay! Esther Shavinsky, who early on wound through so much footage, and we crafted a story line, and she's an editor, but is in LA, and it just became too difficult. So then we found Brent Sumner, extraordinary man in a kilt. Mary Dawson, my so loyal bookkeeper, keeps me organized. Composers, Stephen Barber and Carl Thiel, who did this extraordinary soundtrack. And I also have to mention Christopher Cross, who many of you probably remember. He did the title song, Diving Deep, that'll go over the credits, so I hope you stick around to watch the credits, because a lot of you are in there, and also listen to his really beautiful song. And then Dom Carbondello and his team at Santa Barbara Sound Design pulled it all together. Amazing, Dom. And then Jane and Bob Ingelsapin from View Studios did all the graphics. So that's the team, and now it's my enormous honor to welcome Dr. Sylvia Earle, tireless ocean advocate, our hero.
So if I have a claim to fame, it is that I knew Mike deGruy before Mimi. I met Mike in the late 70s, and I could see then, here was an individual who burned brightly. And he still does. Look at you. Mike is right here with you. Mike, are you listening? Your pals, your friends, your kindred spirits are here. If I could channel Mike a little bit, Mike would probably wish to be able to say, look, the ocean is in trouble. We know that. But that's the key. We know that the ocean is in trouble. We could not imagine when Mike was a kid, when I was a kid, when any of us were, that the ocean could fail, The ocean is so big, so deep, so vast, so resilient, but now we know. Imagine if we didn't know that the ocean is in trouble. Imagine if we did not know that 90% of many of the creatures in the sea are gone in Mike's lifetime, in mine, since the 1970s. We could lose so much by not knowing. But Mike's mission, aside from being one of the great explorers of this time in history, he wanted to share the view. He wanted you to know what an octopus looks like up close and personal. And he shared that view. And he wanted you to know what it's like to be in the deep sea. Most of life on Earth lives in the dark because the sunlight only penetrates down to, 1,000 feet or so, and then it's dark. The ocean goes down to 37,000 feet, 11 kilometers, and it was Mike's dream to go there. Mine too. Isn't it yours? Don't you want to know what this world is all about? Not just 7 miles up in the sky, but why not 7 miles down in the depths of the ocean? What's holding us back? That would be Mike's message. What's holding us back? Only about 10% of the ocean has been seen, let alone explored. This is the greatest era of exploration ever, just beginning. Of course, in the skies above, and yes, with all the microbial world, and down into the soil, and whatever it is, but the ocean. The ocean. And it's right here, it's right there in your backyard here in Santa Barbara. The world is blue. So, Mike would say, we are the luckiest generation ever because we know in time. There's still, some tunas are still out there. There's still some squid coming to Monterey Bay. We have the power to take them all, should we choose to do so. But Mike's message, I think, is use our power. Use that something that he was so richly endowed with, the curiosity to explore, to ask questions and then find answers, and to figure out, how do we make peace with nature? How do we make peace with the ocean? How do we figure out, how do we find a place for ourselves within the natural world that keeps us alive? I have not seen this film yet, but I suspect that message is going to come through loudly and clearly. I thank you, Mimi, for making it happen, and all of you, it's magnifying Mike's voice, carrying his message. He was a champion, an ambassador for the ocean. I think he would wish that you would be champions, ambassadors for the ocean too, each of you in your own way. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the ocean. Thank you, Mike deGruy.
Thank you, Sylvia. So, okay, now we're doing the movie. Thank you all for being here, and thank you, UGG, for your generous sponsorship. And the last thing I just want to say is, I hope you like the movie, of course, but I hope you take with it a little of Mike's spirit and let that infuse how you deal with each other, the natural world, and particularly the ocean. But most of all, love it with everything you've got, because you just don't know what tomorrow's going to bring.
Do unto fish as you would have fish do unto you.
Exactly.